Welcome everybody to Rocket Fuel, hosted by United.
Good
Amy,
morning.
Raquel, and I are so excited to have you here.
Yes.
For those of you here for the first time, United is a completely brand agnostic, brokerage agnostic collaboration tool that we use to get together the best agents from across North America, US and Canada, regardless of brokerage affiliation, to share what's working. The pie in real estate is so big that the couple hundred of us that attend Rocket Fuel can't possibly take business from each other. So we share our secrets and our best recipes to help each other grow. Wanted to give a special shout out today. Some of you are aware we launched a builders program in 2026, and we're working with 20 some odd agents and partnerships from across North America that are in our builders program. You're going to see them. If you see Nestor and Michelle, they've got our community builder background on their Zoom. So you're going to see some of those individuals. We're working on virtual events and agent attraction and live events. And so we get together on a monthly basis. We have, special secret group chats that we share with each other. The goal of that builders program is they're very focused on building out United in their marketplace. They're very focused on building their network of agents. And so we're so excited to have them with us here today. Aim, anything else?
No, let's go. I'm so excited for this session. I
Yeah, it's
think
going
that
to be awesome.
the song was like perfectly suited for our beautiful speakers today.
Yeah, for sure. Let me go ahead and introduce them. So Kat Kobzeff and Heather Roxburgh are founders of Be Epic Marketing. It's a monthly marketing system that they use. It's designed to boost your visibility. And as you guys know, like visibility is everything right now. And not just being visible, but standing out. Now that we live in a world where everyone can create content, how do you make your content stands out? So the goal is to attract high quality clients and establish you as the top agent in your market. To tell you about each of them, Heather is she's a realtor. She's with Real. She's the top performing team leader in the Salt Lake City area. 20 years experience, over 1,500 homes sold since 2006. She's really known for being a strong referral-based agent, and she has consistent and systemized marketing. Kat is her partner, digital marketing expert, 16 years of experience helping small businesses and startups grow, and is the founder of, amazing name, Copycat Consulting, as an agency with focused on real estate marketing. So they're going to share some of their secret sauce of what's helping them be successful in 2026. I think, Kat and Heather work on Heather's brand together to make sure that Heather stands out in her marketplace, and it's certainly working because Heather's absolutely crushing it. So guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Good morning. I'm going to share my screen so you can kick things off, Heather.
Okay.
That's not where I want to be. All right, I'll man the PowerPoint while you get us started. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on Martin Luther King Day. It's a holiday, so thanks for being out here with us.
Yeah, thank you. And today, Kat and I are super excited because we're going to talk to you about something that we are both insanely passionate about, and that is marketing and the importance of having a marketing plan as we go into this new year. So Joe just introduced me, but I'm Heather Roxburgh. I'm with Real Broker. One thing I want to point out is, because he just, gave all my information, but I'm not just teaching from theory today. Like, I'm in the trenches, just like all of you. I work with buyers and I work with sellers every single day. So, I set my production goals every year, and I have to be very consistent with my marketing to hit those goals. So I'm not just here telling you guys something I've learned from someone else. This is me. Over 20 years of experience just with my background in marketing and how I built my business.
Do you want me to take this part?
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, anyways, Joe already introduced me, but I'm Kat. I've been doing digital marketing for 16 years now. I started my business probably about 10 years ago and focus specifically on real estate marketing. So working as a consultant for teams, high producing agents, kind of helping them come out with a completely custom marketing plan. And so that's what I do. that's what I've done for the last decade. And then Heather and I got together probably like, I don't know, has it been like 4 or 5 years ago to create Be Epic Marketing. And this is sort of an affordable alternative to what I would offer my consulting clients. So yeah, we're excited to share our system with you guys and go a little bit deeper on how we believe you should be marketing your business in 2026.
All right, so we are hosting this webinar today to help you all get clear and intentional about your marketing plan for this year. So today you're going to learn how to stay visible across all platforms with consistent marketing, how to prepare your systems so they don't break when the market shifts. And I do think we probably have a shift coming when the rates go down. And then how to use systems and delegation to keep your marketing running so it's happening in the background. And we're going to help you we're going to teach you how to build a clear marketing plan that creates steady and predictable growth, so less peaks and valleys in your business. And we're going to help you free up time so you can focus on what you need to be doing, which is serving clients and closing deals. So NAR forecasts that we're going to see a 20% drop in membership this year. So if that actually happens, we will see about 240,000 realtors that will leave the business. So my question is who's going to get their market share? Well, the agents who are going to get the market share are the ones who commit to building their online presence and also their database, which is a really important piece. A lot of agents don't have a database, and if you don't have one, you need to start creating one. The agents who set up systems that work, whether you have 50 clients or 5 clients or 50 clients, which is so important because when we get really busy, we drop our marketing, we drop the things that, we're working with clients and whatnot. So, and then the agents who show up consistently so people can't forget you. And I always say 20% of the activities that you do are going to produce 80% of your results. And then 20% of your clients are going to generate 80% of your referrals in your repeat business. So it's really important that you're staying in front of them and top of mind. All right, so there's a couple myths I believe that in real estate. Myth number one, or the number one myth, is that agents think that they're in the business of sales. And I say you're in the business of marketing yourself. We're not in the business of sales. And my famous quote that I always share with everyone is, you are in the business of marketing, not sales, and the sales are the byproduct of the marketing that you do. I hired my first marketing coordinator about 15 or 16 years ago. I had all these things I wanted to do, and I had a coach, and I just never got them done. And so my coach encouraged me to hire a full-time marketing coordinator, which a lot of people can't do. But that very first year when I brought her on, I doubled my business just by marketing and staying consistently in front of my clients. Kat?
Sorry, my PowerPoint's being weird, so I'm trying to fix it.
So really quick, Heather, you guys said something as you move on to your next slide, I think is so important. Like, there's such a difference between having a marketing plan and not. Like,
Yes.
there are so many days now this is coming from a guy that doesn't have a marketing plan, where I just go like, all right, what am I going to do today? Like, and so I love the fact that you guys have a plan that you execute on. So there's no like guesswork of what the next step is. I think that's so smart.
Well, one of the things, even to kind of follow up to that, Joe, is that a lot of agents say, oh, I work by referral. And then I say, well, what is your marketing plan and what systems do you have in place? And they're like, well, I don't have any. I work by referral. I don't need to do anything because I did a good job for my client and they're going to call me back. And that's not true. And I'm going to share a lot about that here as we move along. But it's a very good point that you need to have a plan. I say top of mind, top of market. Your name should be the very first thing that pops up when somebody says we're buying a house or we're thinking about selling. When they think real estate, they need to think about you. And I always say it's like going to the gym. If you go once, you're going to get sore. And if you go consistently, you're going to get in shape over time, right? And marketing works the same way. And I included a text message that I got from a client. He sends me this text that says, hey, one of my coworkers, Amelia, is looking to buy, sell. She's incredible. More details in the email. And I say, you are awesome. Thank you. She called me. We had a great conversation. And then he says, I went as fast as I could. Now there are a bunch of other people giving her more realtor recommendations. So glad she gave you a call. I was right on the tip of his mind. And that buy sell transaction resulted in $50,000 worth of commissions. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't market to this client. Kat and I we get asked this question a lot, which I kind of just touched on. What if I work by referral? Do I really need to spend money on marketing when I rely on past clients and their referrals to generate future business? And the answer is absolutely, especially if you work by referral. if you're an agent that doesn't have Zillow leads or other platforms that are sending in business to you, you need to have a marketing plan to stay in front of your clients. If they don't hear from you, they're going to forget you. It's like a noisy, crazy, chaotic world out there, and you've got to stay in front of them. And if you don't, your referrals dry up, your competitors like me are going to step in, and then your income becomes unpredictable. And I think one thing I want to point out, and I would say write this down, marketing is not an expense. And so many agents look at it as like one more thing they have to invest in, or sorry, they have to spend money on. Marketing is an investment in your absolute most valuable assets, which is your clients, your database, and your relationships. So you've got to shift your mind about thinking that it's just another expense, and you've got to look at it as an investment in your business and your future if you want to have a great business. Marketing equals control. We all know that sales are very unpredictable, but marketing will put you in control of your pipeline. I know for me, I don't like the ebbs and the peaks and the valleys and the ebbs and the flows. I need consistent income. I run a team. I have payroll. So it's really important that you're marketing your clients so that you are in control of your pipeline. And the more you market, obviously, the more opportunities and referrals are going to come in. Your consistent marketing will create predictable income instead of feast and famine, so you don't have the peaks and the valleys. And marketing is one of the only things in our business that we can actually fully control. We don't know when the interest rates are going to go down. We can't time when buyers and sellers are going to list or sell, or list or buy, but you can control how visible you are and how valuable you are to your clients. So every campaign, post, and touch point that you do with a client over time is going to build momentum for your business. And then marketing is not a one and done. It's about building a long-term presence so clients remember you at the right time, like my client Hawken did. People are super busy. I think we're busier than we've ever been before in our lives, and we have hundreds, if not thousands, of choices. So you've got to own the space in your client's head, because if you aren't owning it, someone else will be. I have a great example. If you're from my market, you know this guy, but there's a guy in my market. He's on the buses, he's on the mall placards, he farms my neighborhood, and he's got a fantastic slogan. And I see him everywhere. I get all of his marketing. He's brilliant. And if I was thinking of buying or selling and hadn't heard from my realtor for even a year, I'd probably call this guy, because he's the top of my mind. So you've got to stay in front of your clients. And then a very unpopular opinion, most agents should outsource their marketing. And I truly believe that they should. Being a great agent means that you're wearing a lot of hats. We have lead gen, contracts, negotiations. We have client care. If you run a team, you're running your team. Follow-up, showings, closings. There's so many things we have to do on a day-to-day basis. And the first thing that's going to get dropped is your marketing when you get busy. Also, expecting yourself to just create, schedule, post consistent marketing every week is, I know for me, it's completely unrealistic. Like, I can come up with the ideas and I have good intentions, but actually getting them implemented is a whole nother story. You know, if I get a phone call with a new listing lead, I'm going to prepare for that instead of posting on my social, which, you know, a lot of times is my goal for the day, but then I got a referral, so I need to handle that, and then my social doesn't get done. And I think you can all relate to that. And then we have the creativity problem, which I think is a really important piece. A lot of agents are super great at sales, but they're not professional marketers, designers, or copywriters. Sorry, I thought somebody was raising their hand. So
I wanted to ask a question. Do you have any?
Yeah, go ahead, Juan.
I just wanted to ask and see if you have any marketing strategies that you can recommend for the area.
We're going to give you a whole marketing plan in about 5 minutes.
Okay, sorry.
And you can use it for your whole year. Yeah, it's going to be, Kat's going to take that section here in just
I will do that part.
Yeah. Also, doing it all yourself creates burnout and sporadic effort, and you cannot stay fresh and creative when you're managing 1,000 things. Every week you have to come up with new ideas for posts, for newsletters, and for videos and campaigns. And that's just a challenge. That's a challenge for even someone who does marketing on a full-time basis. You know, we get together once a year and put together the marketing plan for Be Epic, and we spend days coming up with ideas for content. So it's really challenging if you're in the thick of sales. And then starting and stopping makes it really, really hard to get momentum again. It's like if you're doing dry January, for example, and you actually slip up and you have a drink, you're probably going to be like, well, I'll start over next month. And then next month comes and you don't do it. So delegation is really important when it comes to marketing. You can go next.
Skip the slide. Yeah.
And the cost of doing it all alone. The cost is inconsistent postings, and then clients forget you. You spend hours and hours wasted on Canva and MailChimp. It's not the best use of your time. You have missed opportunities with leads from overload. You have a lot of stress from juggling marketing and sales. I know for me, like just dealing with my clients on a day-to-day basis, because I do a high volume of deals, it's a lot of stress, and marketing just would never get done if I didn't have someone to help me do it. And then you go weeks, months, or even longer without doing any marketing. And then there's the freedom of delegation, which I think many of us got into this business for freedom. I know I thought that I was going to have more time and control my schedule, and we all know that's not what happens when you're a producing agent. But delegation means more time with clients, more time for lead gen and follow-up, which is actually our number one job, more time to build relationships, take clients out for coffee, make those phone calls, and more business growth without having the burnout that comes with it. And an important part, more time with your family and your friends. I know a lot of moms who are working real estate agents, and it's a huge challenge, and you want to have time for family and kids, and I understand that. And then the biggest bonus is getting more money in your pocket. Delegation. So when marketing is delegated, your posts are going to go out even when you're slammed with clients. Your campaigns are going to run on autopilot in the background. Your clients are going to see you everywhere, every month, every season, every year. Absolutely no excuses. And your clients can't forget you. I always joke with my clients that even if you want to forget me, if you decide you don't like me, you won't be able to, because I'll be in your inbox, your mailbox, your YouTube, your social feed. My face will be everywhere, and you won't be able to forget me. And I got this text message from this client actually last year. I sold him a home in 2006, and he said, do you still show homes, or are you really busy running your company? We would love for you to be the one. He wants me to work with him. It's amazing how much you've grown since you helped us get our home back in 2006. This lead is 20 years old, and this is a guy who hasn't come to any of my client events. I've just been consistently marketing to him over the last 20 years, and he called me back. The other piece that's important to note is he said, it's amazing how much you've grown your company. If I wasn't marketing to him and he wasn't seeing me on social and seeing my team grow and how we've evolved, he wouldn't even know I had my company still. So it's just so critically important that you have a marketing plan put in place, and that honestly someone else is doing it. And then you need to free up your time so you can do what you do best. You cannot grow your business, you guys, if you spend time creating flyers, posting on social, writing newsletters, or editing videos. Your job is to sell real estate, period. And I don't know if anyone's ever done this exercise. I'm sure many people on the call have, but you need to sit down and figure out what your hourly rate is. And if something comes across your desk that is outside of your hourly rate, it needs to be delegated. And I can tell you, like, creating a flyer is not the best use of my time. Going and getting another client is the best use of my time. So I know, it's the beginning of the year, we've all set goals, and I would suspect that everyone here has a transaction goal, and you most likely have a goal to do more business this year. So you've got to ask yourself the question, how do I do more doing the same thing over and over again? You need to ask yourself, how do I market better and more consistently so I can sell more homes?
Really, really quick, and that's such a great point. Guys, we've recommended for a very long time that everyone read Who Not How. And it's actually who and how, like, not to make corrections on one of the best-selling sales books of all time, but like there are activities you do that who's should be doing. The how you accomplish it is by having a who, because there's almost like the entrepreneurial trap of like, I'm the person who does the things. I'm the only one who could do it right. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And that is such an entrepreneurial trap that so many of us get ourselves in, that when you run into these hows that they're talking about, the real answer may be a who. You may be doing the work of someone who should be making $14 an hour when your hourly rate should be $200 an hour. And so it's like, just make sure when you get into these things that you don't fall into that trap of feeling like you have to be everything and do everything yourself in order to get it done right.
Well, I want to say one thing. I'm 20 years in the business, so my world in terms of prospecting looks very different today than it did 20 years ago. but I can tell you for probably the past 15 years, I don't call through my database. I don't DM people and say hi and check in. And I'm not saying not to do that because everyone needs to be doing that. It's very important. But because I market my clients so consistently and so, I mean, my face is literally everywhere, you guys. I don't have to make those calls. I do a lot of client events too, and I do about 4 or 5 a year. So I'm seeing people face to face. And I'm running a very big business. My team, we will close over 100 deals this year, easy. And I have a very tiny team. I don't have a big team. It's really, really small. Me and 2 other agents. So, doing the marketing consistently, it really does free up your time. I don't like making the phone calls. I hate to say that, but I just don't. I hate it when people just like randomly call me. So, the marketing does it for you. So so you can go sell more houses. So Kat is going to now show you.
Yeah, so I'm going to take over from this point, and I'm going to share more about like the specific marketing strategies that we recommend.
No, I'm not. I just
I'm just looking at some of the comments right now. So some of you are saying like, okay, I don't have disposable income to pay for outsourcing. Obviously, there's going to be different people at different points in their career. So we're going to provide you with some do-it-yourself strategies that you can implement if you don't have the income to spend or invest in marketing right now. But obviously your goal should be to work up to that position, right? You want to get busy enough doing transactions, doing deals to where you can hire someone to manage a lot of this for you. But we're going to give you some strategies that you can do yourself. And then we're going to give you a solution if you are in that position where you're like, okay, you know what? I am ready to invest in marketing and I would love to have someone take this over for me. Then we're going to give you an option that could be a good fit for you as well. So I'm trying to share my screen where I can see you guys at the same time. And for some reason, it is just not letting me do that. So, because I'd prefer to see you guys while I'm talking. But how much time do I have? Because I want to make sure that I'm like honoring the time that we have, and I'll kind of adjust the presentation based on where we're at as far as time. Are we 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 to 15 more minutes so that we leave time for Q&A.
Yep.
Okay, well then I will try to go as fast as I possibly can because I definitely know my segment is longer than that. So basically for your 2026 marketing strategy, this is sort of at a very high level what we recommend. So your goal with your marketing should be that it keeps you top of mind, that you can be consistent and referral ready. So that's sort of like when you're thinking about what marketing pieces am I going to create? What am I trying to accomplish? We believe that these are some really good goals to keep in mind when you're actually building out your plan for the year. And then the other piece is you want to make sure that it has some level of personalization. So in a world of AI where we're all using ChatGPT to create and pump out content, the only unique thing is you. And so how can you take whatever you're putting into some sort of AI platform and personalize it? You need to be making sure that you're doing that because that's going to be what sort of differentiates you. So that can include like putting your face on things, doing videos, stuff like that. Sharing your own perspective is really important. And we do recommend, before you start creating content, that you sit down and create a calendar broken up month by month that includes these 4 marketing pillars as a baseline. So you can obviously do more than this, but if you are someone who's having a hard time, just keeping up with any sort of marketing, or maybe you don't really have a plan, we recommend starting with these 4 marketing pillars. And then you can always build on this in the future as you sort of get consistent with these pieces. So the first one is some sort of email newsletter. The second one is direct mail. And we're going to talk a little bit about each one of these in more detail. The third one is you got to have some sort of website, online presence to drive online discovery. And then you need social media. And we're kind of including video with your social media. So we'll break down sort of what our recommendations are for each of these marketing pillars. The first one we'll start with is email. We really love email at Be Epic Marketing because, the reason why I love it is because it's what I call owned media. So with social media, it's earned media. Platforms can go away, your followers go away with it. But when you own your newsletter in your database, you have complete control over how you're reaching out to them, the frequency, and that's really something that you are not at the mercy of these different platforms. So we recommend segmenting your database into these 2 different segments. The first one being your clients, and the second one being your B2B relationships, specifically out-of-state agents. And so I'll explain this a little bit more, but with your clients, you want to send at least once a month a monthly newsletter. This can include like market updates, lifestyle tips, stuff that's going on in your world, community happenings, whatever you feel like would be valuable or educational for your database. That's what you can share in this monthly newsletter. You can include your listings if you want, but this really isn't like a listing email. It's more about building your brand and, you know, showcasing who you are as a business owner, as well as providing value to your database. And the second newsletter that we recommend sending is to this out-of-state agent network. And Heather can talk a little bit more. You can chime in on this if you want, because she does a lot of business from out-of-state referrals. And this is a huge gap in a lot of people's marketing. You guys go to a lot of conferences, networking events, things like that. You get business cards from other agents in different markets, but then most agents don't do anything with that information. They throw it in their CRM and then they never reach out to that person or follow up with them. So we're going to encourage you to put together some sort of B2B style newsletter that you're sending out once a month. And this is different from the client newsletter. So you're going to be sending, instead of like, you know, a market update, you're going to be sending your B2B network personal growth and development tips, things that are working for you as a business owner, like anything that will position you as a leader in your marketplace and a serious professional. And so this is just supposed to be like a little bit of different content than the client newsletter. So do you have anything to say on this, Heather? Because I know you do a good job with this.
Yeah, so I've been marketing to out-of-state agents for almost 20 years, and I have my out-of-state agent database is bigger than my client database. Over COVID, we grossed $600,000 in commission from out-of-state agent referrals. So it is huge, especially when our clients weren't moving, and when people were moving into Utah because we had such a big, huge influx. If anybody wants to get on my out-of-state newsletter list, drop your name in the chat or reach out to me and I will add you to it so you can see the stuff that I send out. But people read it, they love it. We have a really, really high open rate, and I get people that respond to my emails that I send out, and I take them very seriously. I personalize them. They're very personal to me. So it's a huge part of the business, and most agents just throw their cards, like Cass said, in a drawer. You cannot do that. If you're going to spend the time and go to an event to meet people, you've got to make your trip work for you.
Okay. And so moving kind of on to that second pillar, marketing pillar that we talked about, which was direct mail. So a lot of people think direct mail is dead, or they just don't really know what to do with direct mail. And we're not talking about the way we do direct mail at Be Epic. It's not like a farming campaign. So we're not sending postcards to like a specific area that we're trying to farm. This is content postcards that we're sending directly to our database. So it's a little bit different of a strategy, but the idea here is you want to send something fun, personalized with your face and your brand on it. It's going out to your SOI. And what we're trying to accomplish here is recognition and trust, as well as just like delivering a little bit of joy into someone's mailbox, because most people get just bills and that's pretty much it, or like some sort of sales pitch in their mailbox. And so what we try to do is put something that's like fun, creative, and people love these postcards. They're a little bit silly. They're a little bit out of the box, but they're super creative. They stand out. People keep them. Like we have clients that keep these, put them on their fridge, save them for years. It's kind of weird, to be honest, but like, you know, it's really what kind of differentiates us. And also, like I said, brings a little bit of like fun to their mailbox.
And I'm going to throw in a note to that really fast. If it goes to their mailbox, they can't just delete you or scroll past you. They're going to look at your face. Again, they might throw you away. I had a client that told me it was her favorite piece of junk mail she got every month, and she loved to see the creative stuff we come up with. So you just need to think about the mailbox is where it's at, in my opinion, because we are bogged down in so many other areas with content and information. Okay.
All right. I'm trying to go through this as quickly as possible. Like I'm trying to go fast. So the third piece is your website. So we like to use our website for kind of two reasons or two ways that we really try to get the most out of it. And this is pertaining specifically to blogging. But we use it for SEO and then also for content repurposing. So the way we like to think about our blog is like one blog equals content for multiple channels. So we take that one blog post on our website a month. That's sort of the minimum. You can obviously do a lot more than that, but minimum should be one post per month. And we reuse that blog post across all of our different marketing pillars. So if we're going to post a blog on our website, then we're going to embed a video that we do into our blog. We're going to also create an email out of that blog and link back to our website. We're going to also create social media posts and link back to that blog. We're going to also create a video script from the blog, post it on YouTube, post it on social media. So we try to kind of use that blog as a core content piece that we can repurpose all across our marketing for the month. That way we have a nice consistent theme. And if someone sees you on your website, in your email, on social, it's sort of a similar message. And that helps create recognition and trust and just a cohesive, nice theme with your marketing for the month. So highly recommend utilizing your blog as a piece of content that you can repurpose in so many different ways. And the other, big value add to having a blog is search engine visibility and AI search discovery. A lot of my clients, we specifically create blog posts so that we will show up when someone's searching, what does the market look like in Westchester County, New York? We want our blog to pop up when someone's searching that in AI. And then that way it kind of leads people back to us, as well as when someone's searching on Google. So those are two kind of core benefits for using a blog and how you can kind of create a strategy around your blog. Now, social media, this is like probably the piece of marketing that agents are most interested in, most invested in, but also feel most overwhelmed by. And, I meet a lot of agents who think that they need to post every single day, do a story, multiple stories every single day. And while that's a great, ambitious goal, it's not a necessity. We like to encourage our clients to post between 14 to 16 posts a month, which basically breaks down to about 3 posts per week per platform, and really investing more heavily in the quality of the post over the quantity. So doing a mix of videos, video would probably be the number one most important thing you should be posting on social media. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but also including some photos, some graphics, always leading with your face over kind of the stock image graphic. That's going to be what gets the most engagement. So making sure your face is on your post in some way. And then really not getting hung up on perfection. So I think where a lot of people do sort of miss the mark on social is they feel like they don't like how they sound, they don't like how they look, and so they don't end up posting. Our goal is always consistency over perfection. The more you show up, the more business you're going to get. And so just trying to keep that top of mind and maybe care a little bit less about being perfect and a little bit more about being just your authentic self on social media, because that's what people are going to really connect with.
Kat, do you think that mix of that 14 to 16 a month should be, and if you said it, and I apologize if I missed it, but like business versus personal?
So, there's I think different strategies work for different people. I don't know that there's like one specific way that you have to do it, because like, I feel like everybody has their boundaries of what they want to share as a business owner. So for me, this is primarily business on your business accounts. Now, if you have personal accounts, you can create a separate strategy for that, but I feel like most people don't have time to do both. So we focus more on, the business accounts, but you can of course utilize your personal pages if that's what you're doing. But are you asking like about the type of content that you're providing, or are you talking about posting on your business versus personal?
Well, we've had a number of people talk about the fact, like at the end of the day, people want to follow people, right? Which is why movies don't have nearly as many followers as the actual stars of those movies. So we know that piece, and I think you're validating that. But if you're posting on as a creator, an entrepreneur, or whatever, and you're posting on your personal platform, but that's your main business platform because you're either a solo agent or you're like I'll use me as an example. I'm an agent and I have other hats that I wear in the industry, but I'm also the founder of North Group, the name of our team. But the majority of traction for my business comes from me personally, not from our North Group page. We have following there and traction, things like that, but not nearly as much as I do personally. So I was, with regard to your 14 to 16 posts a month for an agent on their personal page, which is sharing aspects of the business, what percentage would you do personal versus business? I think that, if that answers.
Yeah, I've seen it work in a lot of different ways. So like Heather, for example, she doesn't post a lot of like, she posts the personal update every now and again, but most of her content, it's like fun and creative, but it's definitely more business focused. But then I've also seen people that are more, do more of the personal posts. I will say, yes, you're going to get more traction on some of the more personal stuff. But for me, there's no like secret formula of you have to do it one way or the other. Like, the way I handle it is like, I have a different strategy for what I'm posting on my personal accounts than what I post on the team accounts. So on my personal accounts, I'm going to do more personal, right? Like I'd say it's probably 80-20. I'm going to do probably 80% personal, 20% business. Then I'm going to have a business presence where if someone's looking up my actual business, they're going to my business page. And that's, the opposite. I would say it's 80% business, maybe 10 to 20% personal. So, and I don't just post the same thing on both accounts. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, and I think everyone has to find their own cadence. Some of I ran a company, a social media company with Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaq told me his strategy for social, and it's his, so you could adapt it to your own thing. His is 40-40-20. He said 40% of what I post is to make people laugh, 40% is to inspire people, and 20% is to sell something. And so like he's very specific that he makes sure he follows that cadence, or at least his digital team does. And you guys may find your own thing. I think, Aim, to your point, something that's somewhat frustrating to me but should be telling is like when I post a picture of me and my daughter, it goes crazy. And then when I post business stuff, people are like, yeah, we don't give a crap. So it's like, how do I find that cadence of making sure, because to be honest, for those of us who've gone through the process of watching like The Social Dilemma, like social media makes me sick and I hate the manipulation on there. I've chosen to use it because I want to use it to grow my financial life. And so it's like, it's this mix of, if it weren't for my business, I probably just wouldn't have social media. But by using social media to grow my business, I have to involve my personal life as well. Yeah. And so it's like this. So I think, like you said, Kat, I think we all have to just find our own cadence, but again, having a plan. So if I'm like business, I probably should be like, dude, I got to mix some personal in, or else it's just going to start becoming white noise. Or if all I do is get on there and rant about my personal life and how much it sucks, people may lose sight of what I actually do for a living. And so it's like finding that cadence that works for all of us is important.
Yeah, I mean, I will say too, though, like I've noticed, like, yes, of course, if I post a picture with my dog, my baby, like my cute little toddlers, like a lot more people are going to chime in. They're going to engage. They're going to write a comment and whatnot. And then when I post business stuff, I'm like, is anyone even listening to this? But then a lot of times when I actually see clients or go to an event and I see other agents, they'll be like, oh, I saw that thing you shared. You were doing a webinar. Are you doing this and this? And so like, I think sometimes too, like people don't know how to engage with business content. So they might see it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're always going to engage with it. So like the doom scrolling is real. And just because people aren't necessarily engaging with your content does not mean that they're not seeing it. So I think people get that confused where they're like, oh, nobody liked this, or, oh, nobody commented on this. And it's like, well, maybe that's just not something that was like engaging in that way for people, but it doesn't mean that they didn't see it and that it's not creating some sort of like brand recognition. So yeah. I will say that I think that like when I do business posts, like my brand is out there working, without me even knowing that it's working a lot of the times. And I don't realize that till I actually have a conversation with someone at an event or in person.
Can I say something super fast? If you are a person who loves to post on social and you like to share your life, it's really important that you have a business plan so people remember you're also a realtor. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, because they also might think you're a world traveler blogger and forget that you actually sell real estate.
Yeah.
So I think there has to be some balance. But like you said, Joe, like figuring out what that formula is for you could be unique to your lifestyle, to your goals, to how much of your personal life you want to share. There's some people that kids because they don't feel comfortable putting them on social media. So I think you have to figure out what boundaries you want to set and how you want to loop in things that are personal, but then also how you want to educate people that you are a business owner and that you're a professional as well.
Well, and to some degree, we are all P.T. Barnum, for any of you guys that watch The Greatest Showman. Like we all have to be a little bit of that. Like he created this persona that almost wasn't, he had to have the persona before people accepted the persona and then treated him that way. And so there is that part of social as well, where it's like, be careful what you post, because every post you make creates an impression of you like every post we make is an advertisement. And so if all of a sudden I just start posting things that are way off brand, to your point, Kat, people are going to start thinking of me as that off brand person. And so going kind of to round this all back together, to go back to where we were, Heather, to start, it's like, have a plan. And like, I talk to my son about this all the time. Like, we can't wait to feel something to do the thing we know we have to do. Like, one of our big family mottos is do the things you have to do, so that by doing the things you have to do, you get to do the things you want to do. And social media may not be a want to for you, but it may be a have to, which then gives you the ability to do want tos. And so it's like, it's kind of tricky, but we almost have to have that PT Barnum style with our social media, especially if for some people social is so natural, and for others it's just a necessity. And so even if it's a necessity, you still have to keep going.
You have to find a plan and a strategy to make it work, to where it's not sucking up all your time and like draining you. And so, but yeah, having some sort of plan presence is like important. And, on the topic of social, like, we all have heard that video is where it's at. It's like the most preferred content on social media, especially short form video. So I know video can feel very uncomfortable for a lot of people. I work with a lot of agents where it's like pulling teeth to get them on video. But I think figuring out some sort of cadence with video that you can show up and do consistently is important. And so, and especially, we're talking specifically about like short form video. So think 15 to 30 seconds. This could be like a market update. It could be some local news happening in your market. It could be FAQs. It could just be more personal stuff, behind the scenes, day in your life, personal stories. The goal with the short form video for my clients is usually one of two things. It's either education or entertainment. So we're either trying to educate a buyer or seller on some sort of process, or educate people in the market, or we're doing something more fun, that's more about building our brand, our voice, our personality. And so those are the two types of short form video that we like to mix in. And again, you can utilize your video in so many ways. You can post it to social, you can embed it in your newsletter, you can embed it in your blog. So you can really get a lot of mileage out of that one short form piece of content. And with video, the real thing is it does build connection, it builds trust, it builds authority faster than anything else. And it is unique to you. Even if you would do the same video script as 100 people on the planet, it's going to have your voice, your style, and it's going to come off as, just uniquely you. So I think that's why video is such a huge, huge thing.
That's so important. And so somebody put in there, I think being authentic is the way. I saw this video with Gary Vee where he basically said, stop trying to be somebody. Like, be you. Like, you may not be able to be the other person, but the only person who can be you is you. And it's like, it's so basic, but it's so profound. Like, each of us are living our very unique lives. Storytelling is practice. Like, it takes practice to tell our stories in a way that people authentically care. But it is that process as well of just telling our story, because we're the only one of us living this life that we're living. And if we could tell that story, history has shown, whether it's the Kardashians or Chip and Joanna Gaines, or like, people love to see people live their own life or live their life. And so figuring out a way to tell that story so that people can engage with it is, I think, amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So, that essentially is the kind of high level strategy that we have time to cover today. We wanted to give you some action steps because we're all about not just learning, but putting things into action. So if you are on this call and you're like, cool, this seems doable, like, I want to do this myself, or maybe you just don't have the income right now to hire someone, bring them on your team to create a lot of these assets for you, here's sort of a 4-step system on how you can get started. So the first piece, and this is sort of how we attack our marketing, and we usually do it in the fall. So if you're getting started now, you're probably not going to be implementing things until the next month or two. But every October we get together and we plan out our entire next year so that we're ready to go by the time January hits. And what that looks like is first creating a calendar where we map out our weekly, monthly marketing touch points. So this is where you're going to go through and look at those 4 pillars that I've given you and say, like, okay, January, we're doing this blog topic. We're going to do these videos, and here are the scripts we're going to do. We're going to do this email, and here's the content we're going to include in that email. And so you're going to really go through and map out your themes for each and every month. And the reason why we kind of do it in this way is because that way we can create something that's more cohesive versus showing up every month and trying to figure out, well, what are we posting this month? And then it ends up being like one blog post that's random, social media that's random, an email that's random. We're really trying to create a consistent theme for each month that ties in with our demographics that we're trying to reach. So that's why we like to sit down and kind of map it out for the entire year. That way we can be more intentional with our marketing calendar. And then once you have your calendar in place, we like to batch create content. So instead of going in every single month, neither Heather nor I have time to do that. So we put a date on the calendar once a quarter, and we pull up that calendar that we created, and we go through and we take all of our pictures for our postcards. Heather actually does all her pictures for her postcards in one day, so she doesn't have to do them even quarterly. But at least once a quarter, we'll film multiple videos so that we have like a content bank that we can pull from. As far as video content, we'll also make sure we have all our postcard concepts dialed in, pictures for that. We'll write a lot of the content for our emails and our blogs. And that way we're really going in every 90 days and creating the bulk of this content versus having to go in every single month. For us, it just allows us to be a little bit more efficient with how we're doing things, and we can get it knocked out in, a half day or maybe a full day if you're doing this all by yourself versus having to revisit it every month. And once you have your content and your calendar kind of all created, the next piece is you have to have some sort of system. So whether you're doing it yourself or you're delegating, you need to have a scheduling tool that you can schedule your social media out. You need to have, a way to send out these emails, whether it's through MailChimp or Constant Contact, or your brokerage offers you some sort of email service provider that you can utilize and create these templates in. We also create templates which allow us to be more efficient. So we have sort of our email template that we put new content in every month, but we know sort of the gist of what we're providing. And then we just kind of have to fill in the blanks. And then we also, obviously on our team, we do delegate and hire this out because like Heather's mentioned, she just doesn't have time right now in her schedule to get all this done herself. So she does have people that she outsources this to. And then the big thing is just making a commitment. So making sure that you're committing to at least 12 weeks. We do a 12-week commitment where we're going to execute for the quarter, no gaps. And then we revisit it each quarter and kind of do a check-in on what's working, what's not working. If we need to make tweaks, then we make tweaks at that point. But the idea is we just look at it in these 90-day blocks. That way it gives us the freedom to make tweaks where we need to. So we're not going a whole year without looking at our marketing. But it also gives us enough time to really see meaningful change and meaningful data. So that's sort of our implementation plan. We do have a checklist if you guys want to download it. It's free. It's just kind of a PDF that goes through a lot of the content that we've covered in here and will help you get started if you are someone who's doing this yourself. So feel free to scan that QR code and download that if you would like. And I feel like are we getting close to time?
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions, pop them in the chat. Heather, Kat, thank you guys so much. In the meantime, Raquel, talk to us about next week while people think of their amazing questions.
Okay, you guys, quick reminder for next.
Just before you go, Raquel,
Yeah.
could you put the QR code back up, guys, just while we're wrapping up?
So I'm gonna put this in chat. So I have all of this.
Drop it in the chat. Okay.
I'm gonna drop all the links if you want to learn more about our business and what we do, since we didn't really have time to get into all that. And then as well as I'll put some presentation links below. The first one is the link. And yeah, someone said they already downloaded it. So thank you, Kimberly.
And we're going to provide all of this in a recap as well, Kat. So it'll all go out. All the links are going to go in a recap email to everybody.
Yeah, so we didn't really get too much into our business. We had a couple slides on what we do at Be Epic, which is essentially everything that we've broken down, like all those different marketing pillars. We have a company that provides those to agents, and then we provide you with an account specialist. So like a real human being that's going to produce all this content for you and implement it each month. So if you are someone who's looking for a marketing partner this year, we'd love to chat with you. And then obviously there's some links there. You can reach out to us, schedule a call with us, and we can go over that in a little bit more detail. But yeah, I would love to answer any questions you guys have about marketing. in 2026 and how we can hopefully help you increase your visibility and help you sell more homes this year.
Well, thank you,
Guys, so
Heather. Thank you, Kat.
keep your questions coming in. Raquel, talk to us about next week.
Yeah, so quick reminder for next week. I know a lot of you guys have crazy goals or big goals or goals for 2026. And I know next week is usually the week where people start to get, they start to think about different plans. Is my goal really my goal? And we are bringing Elias Astuto, who is a performance coach, into the community that you don't want to miss, because guess what? You know, motivation does like wear off from time to time and until it's gone. So like the real work always happens after the excitement fades. And so he's going to be giving us systems and tools. It's like, what do I do? What happens when days are tough, when things are back to back, when the motivation wears off? How do I keep going so that you become one of the realtors that stays in the business in 2026? So you don't want to miss RocketFuel next week.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So I think a couple of questions have already been answered. There was a question about Houston. Heather and Kat work with agents and teams across the country. So there's, not market specific. Do you use repurpose.io for your social media, or which one do you recommend, Kat?
We do not use that for our social media. So the way we create our social media content is we don't use like a specific platform like that. We provide you with content that's personalized to you each month. So we'll kind of create these templates, we'll send it to you, and we'll say like, oh, we need a picture of you doing this, or we need, a video of you doing this. And then you will give us that content. We'll edit it, we'll create it, package it, and then we send it to you to review. So that's kind of how our social media process works. And then we use it. I saw someone asked about a scheduling tool.
Yeah,
I like
favorite scheduler platform.
Yeah, so if you want something free, basic, and you're just doing Facebook, Instagram, I think using Meta is fine. If you are doing like LinkedIn, YouTube, Google Business Profile, as well as Facebook, Instagram, I like to use a tool called Social Pilot. And that allows you to kind of, what I like about Social Pilot is you can like upload the content and then manipulate it for each account. And you can also add like custom thumbnails. You can add like the first comment. You can add a lot of like tags and stuff for YouTube. So it just makes it really easy and efficient to schedule things out.
Perfect. I think that's everything. There were some questions about Zillow and Realtor.com. Guys, Zillow Realtor, they'll sell you leads. The caution I would give you is, especially if you're buying them for your team, you have to make sure you account for the cost of all the leads that don't close. Sometimes people buy Zillow leads for $400 a piece, and when it closes, they're like, oh, I made 10 grand minus 400. The reality is you made 10 grand minus probably 4,000 when you account for all the leads that didn't close. The last thing I want to say before we say sayonara, as the market gets better, those of us who've been grinding the last 2 or 3 years may feel like, oh, awesome, I'm going to sell more homes and I don't have to work as hard. Here's the danger. All the people who've been lazy the last couple of years are going to see the market popping up, and they're going to start creating content and doing things. So don't take your foot off the gas. As the market gets better, hopefully interest rates continue to improve, you will do more deals with less effort. Our advice is do a ton of business by continuing the effort you've had over the last couple of years. Do not take your foot off the gas, because if you do, somebody else is going to take that business from you. Heather, Kat, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yeah, I will add too before we sign off. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if it's Darren Hardy that said this like analogy, but it's like the pumping of the well analogy, where it's like, you go, you pump the well, and maybe you pump, and that's like your marketing, right? You're doing a lot of work, and maybe you get just like a little trickle at the beginning, and you're like, okay, cool, like I'm starting to see some results, and then you keep pumping, and eventually things get busier, you get that flood of water. And what a lot of agents do at that point is they're like, cool, I'm busy, like I'm doing deals, I don't need to do this anymore. They walk away, and then it dries out, and then that's where we really see those peaks and valleys. And so I think it's really important, no matter what approach you take, whether it's doing it yourself, outsourcing it, hiring your own person full-time in-house, you need to have a way to be consistent when the times are good and bad. And that's why Heather doesn't have peaks and valleys in her business, because no matter what, she's always showing up for her database. And she's always finding there's always these like hidden opportunities that she can tap into because she doesn't ever quit. And so I think just being consistent is the number one thing that you can do and gift yourself as a business owner. So I would encourage you and invite you all to really figure out a plan for yourself this year that you can maintain and grow, not just this year, but this year and beyond.
Totally agree. Thank you guys.
That was so
Have
great.
a great week.
Great way to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Kat and Heather.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Reach out
Have
if
an
you guys have
amazing day, you
questions.
guys. We'll see you next week.